Hello, what is up guys? Evil Duos Arm here today, and today I have for you part 10. Yes, finally up to double digits in our 2D side-scroller tutorial here. In this part, what we're going to do is fix some of the animations that people pointed out in the comment section, as well as go ahead and make it so our player can actually fight the enemy AI character that we created in the last part of the video. This video is going to be a longer video, so sit back and relax and enjoy. Also, I do apologize because I had to figure out how this code all worked together. I actually went ahead and already coded it, so I'm going to delete it and recode it again during the video, just so you can see how it goes together, but it will be a little bit messy. So once again, just try and pay attention, follow closely, and I'll show you some tricks as we go to make it a little bit more streamlined when you go ahead and create it yourself. With all of that said, let's go ahead and get into it, and the first thing we're going to need to do is head over to our Night 1A blueprint, or for you it's just going to be Night 1. So in our Night 1A blueprint, what we need to do is we need to go to the character's viewport over here, and we need to add another collision box. So I have this box called Capsule Collision located right here. So we have the capsule component that the character already has, but I went ahead and created another capsule collision component. To do that, once again, all you do is click Add Component and type in Capsule Collision. It's that simple. So that's going to add a capsule collision component to your character. You can go ahead and move that anywhere you want. I already have it, so I don't need to do it, and it'll mess up my code if I go ahead and do that. So make sure you add in your capsule collision component here on your Night 1A character. Next, we're going to head over to our 2D side-scroller character blueprint, which is located on your main menu. If we go to here, it's under Character, 2D side-scroller character. So we can hop back into this. So this is the part that I said I went ahead and coded already, and it looks like a complete mess, and I do apologize. So we're going to walk you through it step by step, nice and slowly, on what we needed to do to get to this point. So the first thing we're going to do is we're going to head over to the viewport and we're going to add a collision box. So this collision box that you see right here basically lines up with our sword. I made it a little bit bigger to give the player a little bit of a leeway. So once again, to add this collision box, all you're going to do is type in Add Component, type in Collision Box, and you add in a box collision. After you've got the box collision in there, you can go ahead and scale it any way you want using the scale tool over here to make it however you want it to fit in for this sword attack animation. To bring up the sword attack animation so you can see how big a box you actually want to go ahead and create, click on your sprite, which is the little dude that we're playing as, and change the animation to the attack animation. And then you'll be able to see the attack animation of the character as it's going along here. So once again, I already have this box added in, so I'm going to delete the box one that I just created. Make sure to compile and save after you do all of this. Every time you make any changes, always compile and save. So now we're going to head back into our 2D side-scroller character event graph and get working on this. So yours is going to look blank and you're not going to have any of this written here, but basically we need to add some variables in here. So the first variable we need to add in is a can damage Night 1. For you, or for me, I needed a can damage Night 1A. You're going to need this for every single enemy AI character you create. So whatever you name the character, make sure you add in a variable for whether or not you can damage this. So once again, to add a variable, you're going to click the little plus variables button over here on the left and name it whatever you want. So since we're talking about the Night 1A or Night 1, I would name it can damage Night 1A. And once again, this is up in the top left corner, or top right corner rather. This is where you type in the variable name. I already have this variable in here, so I can't save it as that, so we'll just save it as new variable 0. Once you have that variable created, compile and save to bring up this little menu here, and make sure that the default value for this variable is set to false, which is basically an open check mark. Just make sure that box is not checked right there above my webcam. So I'm going to go ahead and delete this variable though, because I already have the can damage Night 1 and White A variables. What we need to do now is we need to add an onComponentBegin overlap. So what we want to do is we want to get the onComponentBegin overlap for the box that we just created. To do that, right click on your box, add event, and there will be an onComponentBegin overlap. Now because I already have the onComponentBegin overlap there in the middle of the screen, I obviously cannot add it, so I'm going to just go ahead and hit View onComponentBegin overlap. It will be the top or second to top option on this menu right here. So once again, go ahead and open this up. So now because I have two AI characters, or two characters that I created for the player to play against, I have a sequence here. You will not need this until you go ahead and create your second AI character, but it's good to see the sequence variable, or the sequence value here. So what I'm actually going to do though is go ahead and delete this entire Night 1A code line right here, so we can go ahead and show you how to do this from the start. So all you're going to have is this Night 1 onBegin component overlap and this sequence. You can actually put the sequence in from now. It doesn't really matter if it's there or not. It'll just only do the one thing if you only have one character going. Since I have two, that's why I have my then one. So this is where you'll be. You'll have your onComponentBegin overlap, connect your sequence into there. So the first thing we're going to want to do is cast to our Night 1A character, or Night 1, or whatever you named your character. You're going to want to cast to it to make sure that you're actually fighting that character. So off of the other actor node, just like we did with the AI, we're going to go ahead and cast to Night 1A. For me, for you would be Night 1, or if you're following along, it's Night 1A. Connect your first node right there. The next thing we want to do is we want to make sure that we're overlapping the actual character or the player that we created. So once again, if I hop back into the Knight 1A character, you see that I have this collision box, this capsule collision box, so that it's around my player. I don't want to make it too big such that it's like the size of the sphere. This is actually very important for the kunai, not so much for this, because for this one we're going to use the capsule component inherited variable, which as you can see is right there in line with the enemy character. So anyway, what we want to do is make sure that we are overlapping the enemy character instead of this big sphere around the character that tells the character to move towards our enemy or our player controlled player. So we want to make sure we're overlapping this inner sphere, not the outer sphere. So to do that, what we're going to do is we're going to get this other component, all right? And what we do with this other component is we're going to set if it's equal to something, so equal object. The object we want to find out if it's equal to is the capsule component. So go ahead and drag off this Knight 1A tag right here, and you're going to type in capsule component, which is this top option right here. So variable get character get capsule component. We're going to drag off that and check that. So what we want to do is make sure that the player is overlapping the actual enemy character. Off of that, we're going to go ahead and branch, connect our branch node right in here, connect this node, and now we are all set. So basically now we know if we are attacking the enemy player or if we are attacking the enemy sphere. So at that point, what we want to do is, if this is true, if we are attacking the enemy player, what we want to do is we want to be able to damage our knight character. So once again, because this is the can damage knight 1A, we want to drag off our can damage knight 1A. If you had a different AI character, you would drag off a different AI character. And we're going to set can damage knight 1A to true. So that is all we're doing with this very first step here. What you're going to do next is add an on component end overlap for that same box. So once again, just right click on the box over here, add event, and the event we're going to add is on component end overlap. So once again, I already have this added into my game. It's right here, so on overlap end overlap right here. So I'm just going to click it to view it. You're going to have to add this manually. This is the same exact code we just created above, this same exact line we just made, except at the end of the line, all we're going to do is do can damage knight 1A to false. So if you want to, you can literally just highlight this whole thing, Control C, Control V, paste it down, and connect all these nodes and make sure that the box is unchecked at the end. So basically this is what this is saying, is that after our player is no longer overlapping the enemy player, after that hitbox is no longer overlapping, we won't do any damage to the opponent. So just go ahead and compile and save. So yeah, right there, just basically same line of code. Now the fun part begins where we need to actually deal with damaging the character, and in truth, I cannot even remember how much was left over from this, so we're going to go ahead and recode this entirely from the start, or show you how to go ahead and code it from the start. So I will go ahead and delete this off, and we'll start coding fresh. Alright, so we are off of our input action sword node that we created earlier, so we're throwing, false, and all that great stuff. We lead to our do once condition, which we should already have plugged in at the end. We get to this branch that tells us if we have enough stamina. If we have enough stamina, set sorting to true, and go ahead and continue with the animation. So go ahead and delete everything after this, and we're going to go ahead and start this over from this sequence right here. So once again, to get a sequence, you can hold down the S key and hit the left mouse button to drop a sequence in. Sequence 0 goes to the code already created for my knight 1 that I created. So we're going to hop down to the then 1 option down below. So from the then 1 option down below, you're going to want to go ahead and add a branch. And actually, I will just go ahead and delete this and just recode it way the heck over here, way out in this distance. So on this branch, what we're going to do is we're going to go ahead and add in the node of can damage knight 1A. So from can damage 1 knight A, basically we're checking to see, are we allowed to damage the knight, the AI character that we've been fighting here. If we cannot damage the knight, if he's not in range, or if we're not facing him, or whatever was decided upon by this coding that we did up here, what we want to do is go ahead and delay for a couple seconds and then set sorting back to false. We want to delay because we're going to do the animation. We don't want to cancel the animation. And then we're going to go ahead and have the animation reset and have us be able to attack again. So go ahead and delay, and the delay time is going to be 0.44 seconds. 0.44 seconds is how long of a delay we're going to do. After the delay, go ahead and set sorting to false. So to go ahead and set sorting to false is to drag off of this. Sorting is our variable. We're going to set sorting to false, and then that is that. And what we want to do at this point is go ahead and reset our do once function way back over here. So the do once for our attacking animation is actually way over here. If I could get there. Oh my gosh, this is bad. Okay, there we go. This is the do once that has to deal with sorting. So this is our sorting attack. This is the do once. We want to go ahead and reset the do once at that point. So we do have a bit more code to add, so what we're going to want to do is drag this off to the side, and I do apologize for how far of a reach this is. So what if we can damage our knight character? What if our knight character is in range? Well, we got to go ahead and reduce his health and do some damage to him. So what we're going to do is head over to the knight 1A character, and we're going to hop into our event graph. So I do not remember if I'd already told you to do this in another video, but it's good to reinforce things. What you're going to want to do on this knight 1A character is add a variable called hit. So add a boolean variable called hit. So click on variable, type in hit, call it whatever you want, and set its default value to false. I need to delete that because I already have a hit variable. Off of the hit variable, we're going to go into our update animation menu here, and we're going to go ahead and put it right below dead. So from the false node dragging down off this branch sequence that we've been creating, we're going to add a branch, true or false, based on hit, false continued down the list. If it's true, we're going to do this hit by attack animation that then connects back down into our compare float crap down below. So this hit by attack animation, what we want to do is set up a custom event for this, and the custom event is going to be up here. So hit by attack, all it does is set the flipbook to the hurt flipbook that is already created by our little animations that we got in the first part, or in part 9 of this video tutorial series. So once again, to create a custom event, just type in custom event, add custom event, call it whatever you want to call it, and then all we're going to do off of this is drag off set flipbook to the flipbook that we had already created, which was the hurt flipbook that we created back in part 9. So very super simple for that. All this is basically doing is having it so when the enemy player gets hit, he goes ahead and does a flinching reaction to being hit. It's really quite simple. So once again, this is the line of code. This is where you insert it just so you can see it. If you want to pause the video and put this in right now, super simple. So once again, off of the false branch like that, your true goes to this hit by attack custom event that you created already, and then you connect that down to this compare float operator down here below. So back into the 2D side scroller character, what we're going to want to do is go ahead and set up the health damaging and all of that great stuff for our Knight 1A character. So to do that, go all the way back up to where we handled the Knight 1A, this on component begin overlap. Make sure you do it off of the on component begin overlap box and drag off of this as Knight 1A node right here. We're going to drag all the way down to wherever I've been putting this together. Looks like down here. Okay. So drag this down to the Knight 1A node. You can also set this up as a variable yourself, which I could show you how to do right now actually, because why not? So go back up to this, and we're going to set this as a variable. So go ahead and drag this, drag off here, and go ahead and click on this, and drag off, and then type in promote to variable. So once you promoted this to a variable, you're going to get this new variable down below. It's going to have a little person running next to it, and it'll say new variable 0. What we're going to go ahead and call this is Knight 1A, since this is my Knight 1A, and then I can drag into this node and drag into this node. Now whenever I need Knight 1A, I can get Knight 1A and I don't have to have that ugly mess of things. So since we're going to do that this way, we're going to drag off Knight 1A, get Knight 1A, and we're going to get Knight 1A's health, so we're going to get the health of Knight 1A. We're also going to be setting the health of Knight 1A, so we're going to type in set health. We also need to get the hit variable, so we're going to set hit, and we're also going to get another set hit, so we need to get set hit again. And now we have everything we need to go ahead and continue with our little animation bit of fun. So, first of all, if the enemy character gets hit, we want to be setting them to hit. What this hit does is basically cancels any animation or any attack they're doing, and makes it so the player can do damage to the enemy character without receiving any damage back. Compile and save frequently just to make sure that you don't lag out or crash or lose anything, and set hit to true. After this, we're going to go ahead and set our health variable. So our health variable is going to go set like this, and then we're going to set hit immediately after. So we've got all of those set up exactly how we need them set up. What we're going to do for health is we're going to go float minus float, and I'm going to subtract 35. So basically 3 sword attacks will kill the enemy AI character. You can actually promote this to a variable as well and set it up in the setting menu when we go ahead and create the damage that the player does to upgrade your character, make your sword attack do more damage or things like that. That is where you're going to do this change as far as the coding goes. So the only thing left to do is to insert that 44 second delay, so the 0.44 second delay. So what we're going to do is drag off of this node right here, delay for 0.44 seconds, 0.44, and then plug this set hit back into our sorting variable attack thing that we had created over here. So this is our full little line of code for handling the damaging being done to the enemy AI character with the sword. So what I'm going to do now is drag off this then one sequence down and over to the input of the branch here to show you how this code works or how it works and all that good stuff and prove that it does work for you. So go ahead and compile and save, and we're going to hit play. So we're going to walk up to our enemy AI character, and when we get to him, we're going to see we can hit the sword attack, and you see he flinches. After we hit him 3 times, he dies. Now the only issue there is you saw he died twice. His little animation played out twice, which means the animation delay time over here on our Knight 1A blueprint is a little too long. So if we hop down to the Knight 1A blueprint, go to this death animation right here. As we can see, our delay is just a little bit too long. So let's try 0.44 just so we can get this over with and be done with it. Hit play and run up to the AI character one more time. Go ahead and attack him, and he stays dead and stays down this time. So 0.44 is the right amount of time on that delay. So once again, it is this delay right here. We are on our Knight 1A character. We hop into this dead Knight 1A variable string. Scroll all the way. It is our first delay. We want it to 0.44 seconds. So compile, save, play. Now we can go ahead and fight our AI character with our sword attack. However, if we go ahead and restarted this and went ahead and fought him again, we would notice that our kunai does not do any damage to him and doesn't really affect him at all. So what we need to do is make the kunai be able to impact the enemy AI character now. So to do that, we're going to head back over to our items menu on the bottom left here, items, kunai, kunai. So I already have this code once again set up for my AI character that I created before, so we're going to go ahead and do the same exact thing that you see right here, except for enemy AI Knight 1. So once again, we're going to add a sequence in here because we already have this set up for our exploding trap so that it does damage to the player and the enemy and all that good stuff. So what we're going to want to do is add our sequence in and connect our node off for our Cast a Knight 1A. Since I already have Cast a Knight 1, I'm going to go ahead and add another node. So once again, we're going to go ahead and cast to Knight 1A, and we're going to see if we are with our Knight 1A. So what we do is get our other actor, so the on component begin overlap that we should already have in here. Our other actor is going to be cast to Knight 1A. Same thing we did before, we want to make sure we're hitting the Knight 1A's collision component instead of the actual sphere around the Knight 1A. So we're going to do that equals thing as well. So drag off of the as Knight 1A and get collision. So this is the collision box that we created. So what we're going to do is type in capsule collision, and as you can see, I got this capsule collision that I created earlier in the start of this video. So grab that capsule collision, drag off of that, and we're going to set the equal node. So check the equal node, object equal object, and drag off of the other component. So we're going to drag off the other component and make sure that it was in fact the capsule collision component. If it was, we're going to drag our branch off, so type in B, drag into the branch variable right down there, drag across, and now we have our branch set up. If it was the Knight 1A's collision component, we want to go ahead and lower the component's health, so we're going to type in health, and we want to get the target's health, and we're also going to be setting his health just like in any other time that we're doing damage here. So what we're going to do with this little health node down here is we're going to drag off and we're going to do float minus float. Float minus float we're going to set to 26, so basically 4 kunai attacks will kill the enemy AI character. Connect all of our nodes up here so our health does damage to the enemy character, all that great stuff is done. And then after that we want to destroy the kunai, so destroy actor, and we want to destroy myself, my own kunai attack, so that way it just goes away after a couple seconds and it doesn't run into the player and all of that great stuff. So the other thing we need to do is destroy the actor even if it misses. We want to make it so that these kunai break eventually and don't lay on the floor, because if an enemy AI character walks onto a kunai on the floor, it will ultimately kill him because he'll keep taking damage, and it'll be kind of funny, but really that isn't what we want to do. So go ahead and delay, and after 2 seconds we're going to make the kunai break. So that's basically enough time for the kunai to hit the player or hit the opponent or whatever it's going to hit so it does the damage. So if we compile and save that, set it all up, and go ahead and hit play, when we go over to our character now and we throw kunai at him, he takes damage and ultimately dies. So that is exactly what we wanted to do with this enemy player. It does exactly what we want, and we can now fight him fully. Now, 2 more things that we didn't get to that are issues that came up that were pointed out to me in the thing is that you can still attack even after your character is dead. So if we head over to our 2D side-scroller character blueprint, which should still be up on your menu. If it's not, you go ahead and open it on your menu, character, 2D side-scroller character. So what we need to do is off of this sorting, input action sword and input action throw, add another little branch, and this branch is going to be the very first branch, and what we want to do is find out if we are dead. So fortunately we already have the dead variable, so if we type in B to bring in a branch and we drag off our dead variable from over here, dead, connect in this press node here, connect in this press node here, and once again hit the B operation here, drag this in, and drag off our dead variable here. So I'm an idiot, I also set it off of the true, so you want to be dead, so as long as you're not dead. If you are dead, you don't want to be able to do anything, so drag off of these little nodes, compile, save, make sure that this dead node thing that we just did is off of the false. So input action, are we dead? No, go ahead and continue. Input action, are we dead? No, go ahead and continue. Now if I hit play and let the enemy AI character kill us, you will see that after he slowly takes down our health, we will be able to not attack, or we won't be able to attack or throw any kunai or anything. So now, if I go ahead and try and hit any attacks, nothing happens, I can't do anything, I can't jump, I can't put any input action in. So that is exactly what we want, and are basically able to completely fight these players. Now the only issue with this setup, the way that I have this coded, is that if you try to drop multiple enemies of the same enemy into a level, they will actually all take damage when one takes damage because they're all the same character. So to deal with that, you're going to have to create a separate enemy AI character for every single one of these instances with the way that I have this set up. So if you want to deal with this in a fast way to be able to create multiple characters quickly so you can have multiple enemies fighting your character, all you're going to do is go to any one of these blueprints that you already created, right click on it, and duplicate it. If you create the child blueprint, it'll take damage the same way as if it was the same character. It doesn't fix what we want to do. So we're going to go ahead and duplicate it. You can name it whatever you want, and then if you wanted to add a different flipbook or different animations or anything like that, all you do is change the flipbook to the enemy characters flipbooks, which are actually all located in the event graph. All these flipbooks that we see up here, for these jumps and attacks, and for the dyings, change it to whatever you saw in that little asset pack that we downloaded earlier in this video series, part 9. And go ahead and set it to anything you want to be able to have multiple characters, or if you want multiple of the same enemy, you're going to have to create multiple ones like this, so a Knight 1A1, however you want to deal with it. But it creates the same exact thing, and then all you've got to do on your 2D side-scroller character is go ahead and copy this exact line of code, or whatever line of code we just created right here, this cast in Knight 1A crap right here, copy it, add another sequence pin, and continue along. So just duplicate exactly what you created and drag those off, and you will be good to go. And once again, same thing with this, you'd create a sequence, create the same exact line of code, and keep stringing it back to that input action reset option over here. But anyway, guys, that is this part of the video, so I do hope you found it useful. I hope you enjoy this. Go ahead and create your very own levels. You got enemy characters you can fight against, you got players. The next thing we're going to want to do, or the next thing we're going to do in our series, is we're going to create our start menu, a pause menu, and basically the menu interfaces that you're so used to seeing in these types of video games. So anyway, guys, thank you so much for watching. If you do like the series, make sure you subscribe so you stay updated when new parts of the series come out. And as always, I will see you at the next video. Peace.